Welcome to the pop culture cosmos.
And we're back with another episode of the Pop Culture Cosmos. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here for the Pop Culture Cosmos, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, Game Source, and the Lakers Fast Break. It is, of course, everything that you want to go ahead and see and do. And then also, of course, want to go ahead and give a big shout out to the Super BS Games Cast as well. Hopefully you enjoy all the programming that we do. Like and subscribe because it starts with the Pop Culture Cosmos channel right here on YouTube and of course around the world on Apple Podcasts, also as well Spotify, and of course radio stations around the world that play our shows each and every time out right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. But it wouldn't be a Pop Culture Cosmos or a Super BS Gamescast without a great compadre in crime indeed. It is, of course, the man behind the Happy Hoarder, Humanica Media, and so much more. It is, of course, Josh the Great Peterson. What's up, man?
Yeah. What's up, dude? How you doing?
Doing okay, doing okay. Just wanted to catch up with you, and a lot was going on as far as the world of pop culture, including video games, as far as movies and more, TV, streaming, stuff, blah, 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 and all that stuff. Always great to catch up with you on that, my friend, and just wanted to make sure you and I are getting everybody out there up to speed of what's going on in the world of pop culture, my friend.
Always a pleasure. Hey, actually, I saw some, we're talking about a lack of advertising for National University. I actually saw a commercial on YouTube for National University last week. So obviously they listen to the show. They know, they're like, oh, these guys are right. These guys are they really got an ear to the street, so we best do what they're saying. And voila.
Voila, indeed. Our university are part of the alumni that we are with National University. Wow. If you're listening, would be awesome if you kind of sponsored us. We kind of help sponsor you in a way. So, tit for tat would be awesome. Just saying. But right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos, big shout out to our former college in crime. Of course, it's actually okay to go there, but it is National University indeed. My friend, I wanted to go ahead and give you the floor because you said you had, and I remembered this, even at my advanced age, I remembered you had a rant on Assassin's Creed, I believe.
Okay, before I get to that rant on Assassin's Creed, I do want to say that I watched the new Predator movie on Hulu.
Oh, the animated one, yeah.
Yeah, did you see it?
No, but I'm going to go deep into that this weekend because I'm also going to go ahead and try and binge through the latest season of The Bear.
Nice.
Which just dropped as well. By everyone let know that season 4 is dropped, and they did you a favor because they're not doing it the Netflix way. They're doing it the old way that they do it on stream. Now we can say it's old way. They're dropping all 10 episodes at the same time.
Yes, smart. Predator is actually a really good movie, man. Like
they getting positive reviews. Yeah.
That premise was like locked up tight. There were no loose ends. Everything made sense. It's interesting because I don't know if I can just go ahead and talk about it here for a minute. I want to spoil things. I won't tell you how it ends, but I'm gonna tell
you it's just of it. Forgive me if I'm wrong. It's the Predator from facing off against opponents on Earth in 3 different time periods. Is that correct?
Yes, but get this though. After each of those timeline fights happen, the one that the humans that beat the Predators are end up in this spaceship. So the first one you have the it was the Viking lady, and then you see her after everything's said and done, and then it flashes forward to her like chained up in this Predator spaceship, and the camera pans away from her forward to the Japanese guy, and then it goes and tells his story. And then after that, it pans forward to the American pilot during World War II and tells his story. And it turns out that there are all these humans that have beat the predators over the years have been collected to fight in this arena. They fight each other, and the winner has to fight like the king predator. So as the movie's ending, you get to see like all these the humans that we have sorry, I won't spoil, but like callbacks to all the different Predator movies. So like takes everything and fully like whoosh, conceals it together. Does that make sense? Like it
Yeah.
makes everything that made the other Predator movies feel like a waste of time watching. They took all the narrative threads and finally strung them into this one consistent thread. And I think that if the future of Predator is sticks to this cohesive narrative, we could actually get some really good movies. My only problem is with like both with Alien and Predator, like the movies never end, right? They always are setting up for the next one. There's never like a boom over. It's always like, oh, and then this happens, and you gotta wait to see what happens next. So that's the one thing that irritated me about that. But pretty good movie, man, if I do say so myself.
Oh, that's awesome. But you were kind of describing what Marvel's supposed to be doing here in about 2 years with Secret Wars and Battle World. So
Oh my gosh, I think Marvel's a lost cause right now. But
okay.
I mean,
maybe Fantastic Four will change your mind.
yeah, well, no, I mean Thunderbolts, man. Like I said, I really like Thunderbolts.
Yeah, but unfortunately, you and I are probably among the 10 people who watched Thunderbolts. That's part of the problem.
Unfortunate. Okay, yes, Assassin's Creed. So I have Mirage, right? I have Mirage, and we listen to Brian rant about or Branky Poo rant about Shadows, right? I have not gotten to any of those games yet or either of those because I've never like officially closed the door on Valhalla. So I was like, oh, I guess I need to figure out some of this content I got to sort through the DLC that I bought for Valhalla, never played, and make sure that there's no loose narrative threads that I need to go and close up in order for the Mirage to make sense to me. So I get onto Valhalla. I find out like there's a Souls-like DLC called Dawn of Ragnarok. I don't know if you remember that one, but
yes,
it's you just like fight through different levels of what do you call where Odin lives? Asgard. You fight through different levels of Asgard and you die. And then you go back and you have to start it over, right? You don't have your stuff. You have to go back to the place you died, pick up your stuff, and then keep moving forward. So it is a Demon Souls knockoff, I guess, but no ties to the current narrative and no ties to the historical narrative. So I got like halfway through that. I'm like, I don't need to do this. Then I got on, and there's like the Siege of Paris, which I didn't do, and there's a mission like if you go across the river, and it kind of talks about like what happened to Basim. But anyways, I got on there, and it turns out that there's a DLC that I had heard about but forgot about, where it crosses over with Odyssey. And I was like, oh man, so I guess I got to go back and play Odyssey. So I went back and played Odyssey, and I got all the way. I finished that DLC crossover where they're like, oh, we have to go to lands unknown to keep the artifacts from falling into the hands of mankind. So I did that. And then I get all the way to the end of this DLC, and because I chose Alexios, you get to choose male or female. So this is where my rant starts. You get to choose male or female. I chose Alexios. I put like 80 something hours in that game as Alexios. Got attached to the character as Alexios because that's just what I did, right? Like I didn't have I wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna be sexist and not pick Cassandra. I just picked Alexios because it's just I don't know. I'm a man. It made sense to feel more immersed playing as a male character if the option was available to me. Anyways, I get to the end of the DLC, and then as Alexios is stepping onto the ship to sail off into the horizon, he turns into Cassandra. Like it's not even it's not even like part of the narrative. It's not part of the script. It's just like a rough cut, and all of a sudden he's Cassandra, and then I'm like, what in the world is this, man? This is so dumb. It turns out they didn't do a male version for the DLC. for the DLC
Mm.
Valhalla, and I look online, and there's a lot of people who are irritated about this, but they're saying that Cassandra is canon. I don't think Cassandra ever was canon. I think because of her popularity, she became canon, which is fine. And
Mhm.
female Eivor was supposed to be canon in Valhalla, which is fine again, but don't give us the option to gender our characters if you're not going to pull through, or not even just gender the characters, but make our own choices in the game if those choices aren't going to matter in the end. So just I was really irritated, and it felt really uh like nothing else I did in Odyssey mattered, and I'm right now I'm currently playing through the Valhalla portion of it and just waiting for that last scene when I'm sure I'm going to see Eivor turn into the girl Eivor. It's like okay, am I wrong in feeling this? Like I'm not. It has not a gender thing. It's a choice thing, right? Like it don't make the
Yeah.
player's choices matter. It'd be like if we were playing Mass Effect, right? And
Mhm.
everything you did in the game was completely retconned for this new narrative that they wanted to pursue, right? Like it just feels so wrong, man. I don't know. I was really irritated about it, and I went all over the internet trying to find out like if my game was glitched or what happened, but that's just the way that Ubisoft did it. So I don't know.
That's correct, my friend. Sorry to say, and unfortunately, I think you just said it right there in a nutshell. Ubisoft, and as far as Ubisoft, not really. That's not the Ubisoft you and I remember. They're just making a lot of mistakes, whether they're small or large.
Yeah.
It just seems like they're not connecting with the audience like they once did. I'm hoping they'll get their act together, but it's going to take some time. But yeah, right now it's just little things like that. I think in recent years that it's just they're not the company that they once were, and it's very sad to see.
Yeah. Well, and then you go back to like the big controversy with Assassin's Creed Shadows, not the female protagonist, but the fact that um you can't choose which one you want to play the entire game as because you have like both of these characters are great characters, but you can't do everything in the game with each of them, so
Yeah.
it Ubisoft, like they had with Origins. Origins was like, in my opinion, a perfect game, right? And they had that formula down, and I don't know where they went, what happened from there, but I don't know, they got kind of lost. And there's a lot of people on floating around like Reddit boards and stuff who think that the franchise just needs to reboot because they've kind of lost their way here.
Well, we'll hopefully get correction on that in upcoming DLC or actually releases of the Assassin's Creed franchise. But I can tell your issue, and for me again, uh, it's been hard for me to stay with the Assassin's Creed franchise. Black Flag was such a high for me.
Oh my gosh, I
Um,
love. Was Black Flag? Did you have the choice of a female character, or was it just straight up male
I,
character? I don't
I think it
remember.
was just straight up male character, if I remember correctly. So yeah, it's again, whatever you choose, male or female, it should be the one that you intended to go ahead and play.
Yeah, yeah,
If it gives you a choice, or at least seemingly on the surface gives you a choice, but if it didn't, then that's a problem. I think they need to address going forward.
yeah, yeah.
But so much to talk about, my friend. It is, of course, Josh the Great Peterson, along with me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching this, and truly appreciate it. Speaking of video games, we'll go ahead and touch on that before the movies this weekend. As far as that, and also as well, of course, some streaming news as well. Want to go ahead and touch on Death Stranding 2 on the beach. Hideo
Mm.
Kojima of the Metal Gear series has produced another uh, cataclysmic video game that's out there. And I know you and I have been hard on the original Death Stranding as the quintessential walking simulator. Death Stranding 2 on the beach is getting outstanding reviews, my friend, as it has been released this week to players out there. Your thoughts on Death Stranding 2 on the beach? I guess revamped combat, you're still got that huge stockpile of stuff that you're trying to transport and things of that nature, but somehow you're invested. I think you're like in Australia, yet it's like neo-apocalyptic world where it's trying to associate itself and become the newly redone United States of America. Of course, it's Kojima being off the wall and quite frankly weird at times throughout the entire throughout the entire game, excuse me. But that's Kojima. If you're not used to Hideo Kojima games, then you really haven't, I guess, lived life, because it is off the beaten path for Kojima. Your thoughts on Death Stranding 2 on the beach? This seems to be on the nose for him that he's on the beach with Death Stranding 2.
Okay, so I think I told you, right, that I started playing Death Stranding 1 a few weeks back. Did I talk to you about that? It
Yeah, you
is, yeah,
called
I
it
mean,
the walking simulator.
it is for all means and purposes a walking simulator. And there's so okay, so you remember how the original Uncharted, like the buttons were so clunky, like he didn't always do what you intended him to do, Nathan Drake.
Mm-hmm.
So you go to like jump one direction and end up like going and doing something else, especially when you're like swinging through ropes and stuff. Death Stranding 1 is kind of similar to that. Like you're walking around the wild and then you encounter what's called BTs, and the ground turns black and all these things coming out of the ground try to suck you out of it, and you keep pressing jump jump jump, try to get out of it, and it doesn't always, the buttons don't always respond during those cutscenes the way that they're supposed to, and it always drives me nuts. But um I gotta say, man, like Death Stranding is a very good mind. There are things in it that are mindless to do, like building roads, delivering packages. The story is what makes the game so interesting, is the fact that like while you're doing all like the walking sims and delivery sim, road building, construction, all that, you're getting immersed in this story that is it's I don't know how to describe it, like mind blowing.
Mm-hmm.
So from what I've read about Death Stranding 2, and I probably will end up playing this one after I finish the one I'm on. I think I'm about 40 something hours into an 80-hour game. But Death Stranding 2 takes everything that I currently don't like about Death Stranding 1, and apparently they made it better and workable. So and it looks good. It looks good too. Like from what I understand, like it picks up almost directly after the first one, or not directly after, but pretty close after the first one.
Mm-hmm.
It looks good. The narrative looks intriguing, and I'm not saying that it's gonna be like it's worthy of all the nines and tens that it's getting, but I find, color me intrigued, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. What do you think though? Do you have, I mean, does this make you want to try it? Like
Probably more so than Death Stranding. I have Death Stranding on my Steam
yeah.
library. I'm just so apprehensive to try and getting into it, just because of the fact that it has been known so much as a walking simulator
Mhm.
in the past. So I'm going to have to go ahead and just bite the bullet at some point in time and just do it. And in doing so, I'm going to have to go ahead and get involved with the world of Hideo, the mind of Hideo Kojima, because
Yeah.
it just is so, he is just so out there. I mean, anybody who's played any of the Metal Gear games, especially like Phantom Pain was out there.
Yeah.
And I'll just leave it at that. But if you're in tune with what's going on with the video game world, I guess you got to try it. It is something that hopefully will spike interest in the PlayStation 5, because I believe it's just there right now as far as it's concerned. We'll see if it does get a later release on other platforms. But for right now, it's got a 90 on Metacritic, and a lot of people are very interested in it right now. So this might save the PlayStation 5 for at least this period of the year, which is something sorely needed when Xbox has been the only thing on that platform that has been worth getting this year.
Yeah, and you can buy the first one on Xbox now too. I think the first one's on sale for like 15
Yeah,
bucks.
yeah. The first one is available on PC and Xbox, but I got it free on a, I think, on a Steam sale or is it Epic? One of those. It's in one of my libraries. I saw it the other day, so I'm like, okay, I got to try it at some point in time. But yes, you can go ahead and get it at a relatively cheap price right now, the original. But Death Stranding 2 is obviously something, if you are really going into the delves of Hideo Kojima, is something you got to go ahead and, I guess, experience sooner rather than later, Josh.
Yeah. Yeah. And on like it's gonna be different things to different people. It's one of those stories. So if you have thoughts on there, send us an email or message us because I'm curious what everyone else out there thinks.
Exactly. Or comment below if you're watching this after the fact. We'd love to hear your thoughts. It is, of course, Death Stranding 2 on the beach. Hideo Kojima's latest game, his masterpiece. We'll go ahead and see if it does become a hit for PlayStation 5. Please let us know your thoughts. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com or right below in the comments as well. But my friend, the other major video game news of the week was something that was shadow dropped to the world, as only Xbox and Meta can do, because I guess the MetaQuest 3S has a variation, a limited edition variation that has been released to the wild. I noted it to you earlier this week, and that is Xbox, an Xbox limited edition VR setup for the MetaQuest 3S. Basically, it's the MetaQuest 3S, but with a special limited edition Xbox controller. It's black with a green tinge, just like the Xbox colors. Your thoughts on this, my friend? I'm not, again, you know me, we've been talked about this before. VR has never been my deal, but as a avid now Xbox fan, um, as a collectible, if I could get it straight up, I might get it, but I'm not going to open it. I'm still not into VR. Wearing the apparatus still is going to be a hindrance to me. Something I really haven't enjoyed when I have tried it. Your thoughts on this, though, my friend, as a collectible, as something you might be interested in, if it does seemingly go your way or presented in front of you, or you see it somewhere at a store, because once they're gone, Xbox says they're gone.
Hold on, I'm sorry, I'm looking. So what this tells me, this limited edition thing, like we don't know what all like this seems like a trial, right? They're trying to see like what the interest would be in something like this. Also, Xbox has not made any like 100% native virtual reality games, so I imagine we're just getting like cheap patches of things. And I don't know. They're talking about cloud gaming being on the VR headset, so I don't even know how that would work. I mean, would we be inside the game? But we wouldn't have the function of moving our hands around. We'd just be sitting there with the controller moving the cursor around, which might be neat in itself. But this just doesn't. I don't know, man. I'm not crazy interested, even as a collector's item. Like is it going to be worth something? Is this like a quick cash grab? Like what exactly is this, and why was it pushed out?
Well, I thought I thought Concord would be something, and it's not. So, like you said, it may not be, but the world of VR, since the VR was really brought back in great detail, roughly 7-10 years ago, it just really has not hit with a mass audience. So maybe Xbox applying their name, similar to what they're doing with the handheld with Rogue Ally coming out later this year, although that is a little bit more extensive because they're providing an actual button and an actual interface. The software is being revamped to work with the Xbox system and ecosystem on that. So that's a little bit more detailed, but this again right here, for me, it's still a novelty because the 3S is the lesser powerful, I believe, of the MetaQuest. But again, it's $399. If you want to go ahead and get it, it's going to be limited edition. I don't know. They didn't say exactly how many are being made, or how much is how much of a limited edition it is. So you are taking a risk by going ahead and looking into to see if you want a collector's item or whatnot. But hey, again, it's trying to get people, the casual audience, into VR, or people
But
that have bought
yeah,
older versions of VR into this a little bit more. So
it's
I
still, but
guess
it's crazy though because it's still not VR. It's just like Xbox with the glasses on, right? Like you
yeah,
can turn your head, but you're still got your first person cursor, your third person or whatever there. The goggles just become the screen. So that's where
yeah.
I'm struggling, man. That's where I'm
It's
struggling.
supposed to integrate more with Xbox games and Xbox Games Pass. So I mean, take that for what it's worth. But yeah, I just at this point, I would be getting it just to use, just to have as a collector's item, and see how valuable or not so valuable it get. At $400, I don't think it's a huge risk. But yeah, if it does come my way and I get the chance to buy it, I may buy it as a sealed and just keep it that way. It's not something I would go ahead and delve into because again, the barriers for inclusion for me on VR is still, it's still not there. It's still
Yeah.
not there for me as far as what I want VR to be.
Yeah. You know what's funny too is that it's a VR is very speculative, right? Like it's all speculative. Like what's it where's this technology gonna be in? Are we gonna make the technology bigger by continuing to make things for it? Like PlayStation, like I'd be surprised if they make any more VR headsets. MetaQuest 2, like we have how many games by high profile developers? We have Batman, right? Batman's pretty much it. Bandai's made a Gundam game from
There's
MetaQuest,
been
which
a
is
Star
pretty cool.
Wars VR game.
Yeah, but there's nothing in it where people are going to be like, oh, I'm going to drop my main console and I'm going to just play strictly VR. Like it's really like I said, it's a novelty and it's very speculative. So who knows what this is going to look like in 5 years, if it's going to look like anything.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's there if you're interested. It is, of course, a limited edition Xbox VR headset. If you're interested in going ahead and getting it, it's now available out in the wild through various retailers, but it is limited edition. And Xbox has already stated, and also Meta has already stated, that if you want it, you better get it quick because once they're gone, there will be no more that are remade. For me, again, I would just buy it as a collector's item to see if it increases in value, as we've seen over the course of the past 5, 7 years, that certain video game properties, products, things of that nature have become increasingly more valuable. But a lot of that is tied to age and availability. So we'll see what happens on a newer product now that that has been deemed a limited edition. But again, I have my concerns on whether or not it is a speculative piece to be had or not. But we will see. Again, if you're interested, it is a specially made MetaQuest 3S in the all trim Xbox black with the green trim on it. It looks really nice. I will give it that. I like that trim, the black with the green on it. It looks really good. Plus, it has a specific limited edition Xbox controller you can get nowhere else. So in that in and of itself may be valuable to people. So if you are interested in it, it is now available out in the wild. It is the Xbox VR. If you have thoughts on it, if this is going to get you into VR, or if you have a VR system already and want this, need this, or don't care for it, we want to hear your thoughts one way or the other about the new MetaQuest 3S Xbox VR limited edition that is now available out in the wild. If you want to go ahead and share your thoughts on that below, or give us a holler, popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. We'd love to hear your experiences with it, you're interested in it, and see if Xbox VR is the thing that's going to get you into virtual reality. Well, once again, it is, of course, Josh the Great Peterson, along with me, Gerald Glassford. It had 1/2 hour down, 1/2 hour to go here on the show. Truly appreciate you joining us, my friend. Before we get into the movie part of the program, with as far as with all the new releases plus Pixar's issue the 28 years later controversy, and more. I want to go ahead and touch on this week's big streaming news. Again, I mentioned that The Bear season 4 is now out on Hulu in its entirety. Ironheart, though, Disney, which just bought the rest of Hulu. Please note that, Josh. Disney recently made the purchase for the rest of Hulu from Comcast. So my envisioning of a integration all in one thing may come to reality at some point down the line sooner
Y-
rather than later. I'm just
You know,
saying, man.
yeah,
Just
well, it's crazy to me that like they still have you can't access all of Hulu's content through Disney. Like you can access a whole lot of it, but you can't access all of it. Um,
that may change. That may
yeah,
change because remember Comcast owned a little piece of it, and now that piece has gone away, or at least it will go away pending FCC approval and other things like
right.
that. So
I'm
we'll
just
see what happens with that.
yeah, I'm curious. I mean, and we won't know this till later, but I'm just curious, like how all the if they had to renegotiate all the contracts with that Comcast had with all these other networks and stuff, or if it's just like we'll take over the contract from me. Anyways, yeah, interesting stuff.
It is indeed, my friend. So we'll see how that relates itself out. But I'm still envisioning, like I've told you, it's going to be some time. I think it's going to be an all-in-one, like we're seeing, like Disney Plus is around the world with its just all integrated one app. We will eventually see that here in the United States, I believe. Still, Ironheart came out this week from as far as Marvel and Disney. I know that you said you weren't high on Marvel now. The reviews are all over the place on Ironheart. My girls have seen the first 3 episodes. I have to catch the first 3 episodes this weekend and catch up on that. Your thoughts on Ironheart? Again, the character Riri Williams and all that. She is from Black Panther 2 to get people familiarized with that. But this has been a long in gestation series. This, I think, is still part of the old regime or the old way, not the old regime of Disney television plus Disney Plus television, but it was when Marvel was putting out a lot of stuff in regards to the Marvel television scene. So this has been sitting on the shelf for a little while, from best I remember. If that's the case, it is not in it's not as much part of the envisioning of what Bob Iger wants to do as far as the selective Marvel and Star Wars to make it better going forward. But Ironheart is out in the wild. I don't know how much it will tie into the larger MCU Marvel Cinematic Universe, but a lot of people seem to be enjoying it as far as the fans are concerned, even if the critics are all over the place on it.
So I'll be very forward. I did not like the Ironheart, the Riri Williams character in Wakanda Forever. It
Mhm.
felt she felt very plain, like one dimensional. Or it's not one. Sorry, she felt like she was. They just took the Black Panther character Suri and they made her twice. Like that's what it felt like to me.
Mhm.
Um, so I wasn't that fascinated by her story.
Mhm.
So and then I'm reading about Ironheart and I'm finding out that a lot of the critics kind of, and I never agree with critics, right? But like they're kind of saying it's the same thing, right? The story's very one dimensional. They don't really do a lot with the like there's cool fight scenes and the heists are neat, but it doesn't tell like a very captivating story. And so that's what I was kind of afraid was going to happen with this. I know the comic books are great. Like there's the source material is a lot better, but they kind of veered away from the source material, and maybe that's because of, like you said, the it's part of the pump out as much stuff as possible in Marvel before they switched over. So I don't know. I got to sit down and watch it and develop more of an opinion on it. I didn't like you said. I shadow dropped, so I didn't even know it was out. So I'll sit down this week and watch it and give a better opinion. When we talk next week, but. I'm going into it already not really caring too much for that character, but maybe my mind will be changed.
Let's hope so, my friend. Let's hope so, because again, I don't know if it will be something that we will see that is going to resonate long term. If the Riri Williams character will be part of the larger universe, of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Let's hope so. Let's hope this is. I wouldn't think that Disney would have put this out still if they weren't going to allow her to be a bigger part of the MCU. Or she may fit in line with the younger Avengers, like the Young Avengers team up, like that we keep forgetting that they're kind of like doing supposedly with the young Hawkeye, Ms. Marvel, as far as that's concerned, that that you see at the tail end of every series where they're supposedly going to get the young Avengers together. We'll see what happens there, but I hope everybody gives it a chance. At least it's Ironheart. It is out this week. I know I'm also going to go ahead and check it out. So hopefully next time we do get a chance to talk, we will go ahead and share some thoughts on Ironheart. And if you do check out Ironheart, please let us know in the comments below what your thoughts are on the first 3 episodes that dropped. Not unlike The Bear, they didn't drop the whole thing at once. So they went ahead and just put out the first 3. So let us know your thoughts, popculturecosmos at yahoo.com, or the comments below right here on Pop Culture Cosmos on YouTube, my friend. But I think what everybody's gearing up for is the battle at the box office this weekend. Interesting weekend, to say the least, from last weekend to this weekend. So we're going to touch on a lot of that. Do you want to touch on last weekend, or do you want to touch on this weekend first?
Well, let's talk about last weekend because it already happened.
Yes. So we saw what happened. It was How to Train Your Dragon for a second week, still on top of the box office. But 28 years later, it did come out as far as in second place. Biggest opening ever for a Danny Boyle, who is the director of this film. If you know from, of course, the previous 28 iterations, also as well, Slumdog Millionaire, among other things. Train Spotting as well, if you're familiar with that. Yeah, this is big. It's biggest opening ever for him at $30 million. I mean, it's not a huge haul per se, as far as when you look at it, but for him, it is his largest opening ever. But this film has really become a divisive lightning rod for the 28 fans, and that's what I'm going to call them. It's not 28 number fans, but 28 series fans.
How flattering.
Fans who have enjoyed 28 days and 28 weeks over the course of many years. The reason why 28 years later has been made is not because of what they did as in the movie theaters, what those movies have done as far as extending the life of the series, as far as rewatching on VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, streaming, all those outlets. All the time it's been replayed. This is the sheer demand has brought out 28 years later. But this ending to 28 years later has caused a lot of controversy. A lot of divisiveness. I guess it's the last just few minutes of the film.
Tonal shift is what everyone's calling it.
Yeah, but it's obviously intended because they've already filmed The Bone Temple, which is going to come out, I believe, right now, scheduled for a January release. It's part of a planned trilogy from Danny Boyle. Your thoughts on this controversy, my friend? Because for a movie that realistically at the domestic and worldwide box office didn't do huge numbers, it is creating a huge controversy.
It's fine. So I will say 28 days later. That was an absolutely fantastic movie because it was very cutting edge for zombie stories. Like it came out in an era of a lot of zombie stories, but this one like really, I don't know, like it was gritty and like had like a very artsy tone to it. And then 28 weeks later came out Jeremy Renner, and I remember not liking that movie that much because they had taken something that was very like pure art.
Idris Elba was in it too.
Yeah, and they commercialized it. Like it went from being like a low budget masterpiece to a high budget, high octane thriller, So I was not too impressed with 28 weeks later. Anyways, 28 years later though, like I've heard really great things about it. Like even the ending, like there's a big camp of people defending it, saying like, this is meant to 28 days later originally was a very artsy film, and so this is also meant to tell a tell a story about society, and he's going somewhere with it. So I'm like, I'm gonna trust Alex Garland, because Alex Garland wrote it, Danny Boyle directed it. I'm gonna trust the vision. I'm gonna trust what the story they're trying to tell. If it comes out, because there's supposed to be 3 new movies, and if the next one's not successful, they probably won't be able to tell that third one. So I'm gonna trust it, man. I haven't had a chance to go see it in the theaters yet. It's funny though, because when this movie was announced, all of a sudden everyone discovered that 28 days later was not streaming anywhere. Nobody had it on any of the streaming platforms. You remember that?
Mhm.
And
Yes, I
the
do.
physical copy of it skyrocketed up to $400 on eBay. And it's funny because I remember owning, what, 3 different versions of this when it came out. I had it, the DVD, I had the Blu-ray. I don't know where all of them went, but it's just funny because people get so hysterical over the fact, like, oh, I can't watch this anywhere. I'm gonna end up paying $500-$600 for a copy of this movie. But yeah, anyways, 28 years later, I'm gonna see it, man. I'm excited about it. The ending, I maybe it's they overshot what they're trying to do, but also, like,
I remember watching them on cable to give
yeah.
you an idea when I watched them. So
Yeah, but also it's Danny Boyle and Alex Garland. I mean, you have to remember that these guys make movies that are absolutely outside the box. You're either gonna love them or you're just gonna walk out and be like, it's all right.
So, with that said, and then also, I guess the super jacked Samson, super infected. I guess he's so jacked he's got a name. Samson is also stirring up a lot of interest for various reasons, including a prosthetic, which I will not elaborate on. But if you're out there, if you know, you know. As far as that's concerned right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it is, of course, 28 years later. If you are interested in catching it or have caught it already, please let us know your thoughts on the ending controversy. Um, again, I just think it wasn't exactly like hidden knowledge that their second movie is already filmed and that there's a planned trilogy in place. This was said before even the movie came out. Through various sources that it was going to be a planned trilogy. So it's not like it was something that was unknown. So if everybody out there goes ahead and just checks it out and let us know your thoughts on it, is if it's that divisive, we're going to go ahead and check it out at some point down the line. So please let us know your thoughts on 28 years later. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com, or comment below in the comments as well. But also coming out this past weekend, we talked about it before. I talked about it with TJ Johnson, Elio. Elio from Pixar, it debuted between 20 and a half, $21 million here domestically in the US, which according to the numbers, I think is one of the worst. Well, in the modern era, is the worst Pixar opening ever. And with that, it's been quite a problem for Pixar. I mean, I don't think it's the worst opening ever. I think the original Toy Story, because the fact it was 1995, did a number less than that. But again, Toy Story became what it was, and I don't know, and I don't foresee Elio to have those kind of legs. Elio. Here's another one, Josh. People have been giving it 9s and 8s, 9s all over the place, but people have also been not too kind with it. So the reviews are again all over the place. Elio, though, for a major picture, $160 million reported budget on it. Poorly advertised, put in a spot right after another family-friendly movie with How to Train Your Dragon. Just, I don't know what Disney does sometimes. They set some movies really up for success, and they set some movies up for failure. And it just really is disappointing that they continue to do these things with very expensive films. Your thoughts on the Elio? I don't want to say disaster, but man, I really feel for the people at Pixar. They've given Disney so much, and Disney lately has returned them back so little.
It's funny because I don't think anyone knows what they want from Pixar anymore. I think that
Yeah.
everyone has different expectations, and that's something that been a lot of interviews coming out of Pixar lately too about like uh the danger of making an original Pixar movie and why it's Toy Story, going back to those old movie sequels is such always a safe bet for them. Elio it looks like a great movie, but yeah, I mean, I didn't see any advertising for it whatsoever. So the fact that it's not doing so well doesn't surprise me. They didn't market it. Same thing with they didn't market a lot of the other ones too. What is it? That one with Eddie Murphy.
Oh, you mean the haunted
Not,
house?
no, sorry. What was shoot the? I'm brain farting now, man. It came out during COVID, right? Was that Eddie Murphy or was that somebody else in the
Oh,
movie?
the Pixar COVID one?
Yeah, what was
The
that?
one with yeah, I mean that's the one that came out a week before COVID. Which again, why do you bring out a movie right before COVID?
Yeah,
It's just absolutely so.
but
That's I can
and
yeah.
same thing with Elemental though. Elemental and Inside
That
Out
took a
2 was
while to make some money. That took a while because it came out very soft as well.
yeah. Inside Out 2 was another one though. I mean, that one it people knew about it, did pretty well in the box office, but nobody talked about it, right? And like I know there's a Zootopia 2 coming out and
Onward, you're talking about, by the way.
onward, yes, yes. But anyways, like the Pixar movies never get marketed the same way that the standard Disney fare does. And I don't
Yeah.
know why that is, and I don't
Or the
understand
sequels. The sequels get so much more love than the original stuff, like Luca, like
because
other stuff that they brought out. Yeah.
yeah, well, it's like they gotta wait, right, to see like, oh, do people like this first one? If we put it out silently, nobody knows about it, then we won't get our name dragged through the mud, which is not like a great way to operate a studio.
Yeah.
But
I
I yeah,
agree.
yeah. The Elio thing, like the movie looks good, it looks entertaining, but the majority of moms out there who are free during the summer to take their kids to the movies, they probably don't even know that it exists. Like they see, oh, Lilo and Stitch is probably a safer bet, right? Because we're also getting to the point where Pixar is releasing things in the wake of these, live action fare, which is probably not a smart thing either.
It's very disappointing. So I don't know. At this point, could Elio have succeeded if it been promoted more, if it been put it in a better spot during the course of the calendar year? I think it could have done a little bit better. But again, if it's an original property from Pixar, Disney just seems to not give it the love that it needed. The last, to my memory, Elemental it has done huge business on Disney Plus, and even though it came out soft, it eventually did 450 some odd million at the box office because it took a long time to go ahead and get that kind of money. It had to have like unusually long legs, and it did extremely well on Disney Plus. So that's that and Turning Red, which came out during COVID, and then those two movies are really those two movies I think are really the ones that have done well for uh, Disney in this decade, not being a sequel. Of course, Inside Out 2 has really done well. So yeah, I don't know. Just original properties for Pixar right now, they could be an endangered list, and all we could be seeing upcoming from Pixar is sequel after sequel after sequel, Josh.
And you know what's funny, and my memory may be fuzzy in this, and I may be wrong, but it feels like Pixar lost steam after Andrew Stanton's John Carter incident.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I mean, because that's where it feels like it started, right? We had Planes came out shortly after that, and that one didn't do that great. And I feel like maybe that was where Disney's like, oh, maybe we should scale back our dependence on Pixar for things.
Absolutely. So it's going to be interesting to see what exactly movies that they're going to go ahead and do going forward. If Pixar gets scaled back, and I'm really hopeful that they don't do that. But we'll see as far as I don't know. Again, Pixar is just really something to me that I really hold dear to my heart. I know that my friend has worked for them for quite a spell, and I was hoping to see good success from this film, but unfortunately, it looks like it's not meant to be.
Yeah.
But we will see what happens. But it is, of course, Pixar's movie latest, and that is Elio. Don't forget Soul, which also got impacted by
I think
COVID.
that's the movie I was talking about.
That
Right?
was huge on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
That's something that might have done really well at the box office, but we'll never know. So we'll see. It is, of course, though, Elio at the box office. Please go ahead and let us know if you enjoyed it and if you encouraged others to go see it because it could really use the help right now for everyone at Pixar. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. Well, just 10 minutes left, my friend, and I wanted to go ahead and get your thoughts on this weekend's movies, Megan 2.0 and F1. F1 is the marquee on the ticket. I don't know, again, F1, we do have now races of Formula One here in the United States, and it is slowly becoming more interesting to people. Obviously, the Netflix F1 series really did great numbers across the board. F1 is huge all around the world. Your thoughts on this, my friend? Brad Pitt coming out with this movie. It's supposed to be one of the most cinematic driving movies of all time. IMAX. It was cameras. It was done for a great part of the movie, especially the driving sequences. So it's supposed to be a thrilling experience. I have a feeling this movie is going to resonate around the world pretty good. I don't know how it will do here in the States.
Okay, so I'm actually really excited about this movie. So if you notice, like film history, right? It's not full of great racing car movies. Like we
No.
had Days of Thunder, right? Was not widely considered a classic until several years after its release.
It's not a classic. Anybody who thinks that's a classic, Josh, is got to be kidding themselves.
It's I don't know. I enjoy it, not enough to watch it all the time, but I
It's
do.
a Michael Bay film waiting to happen on a stock car.
Yeah.
Although they're going to make a sequel, most likely. So
I'm
yeah.
sure. Driven, right? Sylvester Stallone, like that movie I thought it was good, but it flew completely under the radar. Fast forward, we had Gran Turismo. I thought was an excellent movie. Ford versus Ferrari was a great movie. I haven't
Fast and
seen.
Furious movies.
Yeah, I mean, that's not really like a race car movie. It's a race heist movie. I'm talking about like professional racing films. Did you ever see Ferrari? Was that one any good with Adam Driver?
Oh, it's forgettable. Again,
Okay.
when they go off the track, Ford versus Ferrari. I mean, I guess that's probably the better one of the movies that came out because Gran Turismo was such a dud.
I like
Um,
Gran Turismo. I enjoyed that.
well,
It was
you
corny.
are one of the few.
It
You were
was
one of the
corny
few.
for sure, but it was it told a story that like I had no idea any of that stuff happened, so I enjoyed it. But
Uh,
yeah. Anyways, to get back to F1, like I am really looking forward to it. I do like those types of movies, and I don't know if I'm gonna get a chance to see in the theaters, but I know within a couple months it'll be on Apple Plus. I'll get to watch it. But are you interested in this one at all?
I am a little bit for the driving sequences, but I don't know if I want to pay IMAX money for that. But I just ordered the IMAX film for Superman, and
That's
again,
right. That's right. When is that? Is that this weekend or next weekend?
next week. Actually, I think it comes out a week before. No, it's next week. Or in about 10 days or so. Let's just put it that way. Because it comes out the 11th, but the advanced sneak peeks through Amazon for IMAX theaters that comes out, I believe in about 10 days. So I got an advanced screening of it, which tells you our family's excitement for Superman. So we'll see what's going to happen there. But
When
back
when
to F1. Okay,
Yeah.
go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry. I was gonna ask when you're done. Answer this question. But when does Jurassic Park come out? I've seen early reviews on that one too.
Yeah, because that one actually dropped as far as the advance this past week. So Jurassic Park World Rebirth. It's World Rebirth. I got to get that right.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan like you are of Jurassic series. It just has to be. It's July 1st.
Yeah.
That's coming out next week. So
Okay.
that's going to get the jump before Superman or Fantastic Four. So again, with F1, we'll see what happens. I am probably going to try and catch it, at least maybe like you on Apple TV Plus, and see what happens there. It does to me have some tropes already, where the young man, the rookie, just cannot stop with the old man jokes. Okay, I get it the first time you say, all right, fine. But every single trailer I've seen him dropping the old man jokes, the old
Yeah.
man jokes, the old man jokes, the old man jokes. And then, okay, I understand he was a Grand Prix driver. Brad Pitt was back in the day. And then he was doing other driving, but he was also a taxi driver. He was doing Uber or whatnot when Javier Bardem gets him. In
Yeah.
seriousness, there's no way on God's green earth in the modern era would they just grab any guy that is doing like semi stuff, retired or semi pro
They
stuff or
must have been
whatnot.
impressed, man. His his
Yeah,
his delivery skills must have been top notch.
it's ridiculous. These are ridiculous concepts. It's just it brings down the movie. I mean, if he'd been like a successful on the NASCAR circuit, and he was like retiring for the NASCAR circuit, and then they brought him, I could get that, or because that would be a legitimate thing. Or if he was an open wheel driver in the Indy circuit for USAC, and they brought him back to go Formula One, that is believable because that has happened.
Yeah.
But doing this where he's like semi-retired, or he won a Daytona, but he's still like a taxi driver, and all that. That just stop, please stop with the Hollywoodization of this stuff. It's too corny. I can't get exactly. It's when it gets off the track and they try to tell a story. That's the problem with all those racing movies, Josh. It's just that simple. When they get off the track, they don't know what to do to build a constructive narrative. So I'm hoping F1 will change my mind, but the premise is already got it. It's already one against me right now. It's one against it right now, but with me. But we'll see. It is F1. Please let us know your thoughts. It is probably going to be the opening movie of the weekend that's going to do the best, especially around the world. I'm interested more to see how well it will do here, because F1 is still growing here even after all these years. But we have added tracks here in Miami and in Las Vegas and things of that nature. So we'll see what happens. But if you have thoughts on the F1 movie, let us know. But before we head on out, Meghan 2.0. She's back, and somehow she's a hero, Josh.
I saw that. Yeah, she's like a superhero in this. Like the director, I remember him saying like it's going to be a complete shift. We told the horror story and Meghan, and now we're going to tell a different kind of story. And I'm like, okay. I respect, because it's M. Night Shyamalan. Remember he did the same thing with the Unbreakable series that he did with the I forget what the trilogy is called, but he had the James McAvoy evil person, then he had Unbreakable, and they came together, and then this weird like superhero flick instead of a horror movie. So I think he's trying something new, and it's either gonna be really well received and people will love it, or it's gonna just be corny, bad B grade stuff.
We'll see. But as long as they made it cheap, it could be another hit like Meghan first number one was. It just seemed like yesterday when Meghan dropped, and now all of a sudden we got Meghan 2.
Yeah,
they know how to churn them and burn them on those horror movies. That's all I'll say.
For sure, man.
Absolutely. But if you have thoughts on the movies this weekend that have come out, F1 and Meghan 2.0, please let us know your thoughts. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Well, a great show. A lot we discussed, a lot we covered over to get people caught up with what's going on in pop culture. Any last thoughts before we head on out?
I finished the new Gundam series on Amazon Prime, and I have to say, like, I think we talked a little bit of this before, but like how do old franchises still feel fresh and new to newer audiences, right? They did such an amazing job with this. Like, you can tell it's made by the people that did Evangelion. They took the old Gundam, like how that ended, and they tied it into a newer series. So it's like this takes place in a parallel universe, but it still finishes tying up the stories from the original Gundam, like 1979 Mobile Suit Gundam show. So the original UC universe. So definitely worth watching. It's got a lot of call outs to Gundam, the original. It's got a lot of call outs to Evangelion. It's 12 episodes, so it's not really going to be like a grind for you. But if you are someone who wants to get your kids into Gundam, like this is a good place to start because it kind of takes the old and the new and ties them together.
Looks like you got your kids into gaming right there below that.
You love the controllers, man.
A future has already been written.
I know.
Right here on
Pop Culture Cosmos. Sword in the stone.
There it is indeed. So for Josh, the Great Peterson, this is Gerald Glassford. It's another beautiful day in paradise right here in the Pop Culture Cosmos. We thank you for listening. And here's hoping you have yourself a great day.
Welcome to the Pop Culture Cosmos.